When the badge meets the welcome mat, chaos erupts. A housewarming party turns into a 911 showdown. What happens when a Karen's call backfires? I still remember the day I finally moved into my new home. The sun was shining, and the smell of fresh paint filled the air. I had invited a few close friends and family members to celebrate my new beginning. My colleagues at the police department were also invited, but I didn't expect them to show up in uniform. As a rookie cop, I was excited to show off my new pad. The party was in full swing, with music playing and people mingling. I was busy playing host, offering drinks and snacks to my guests. That's when I noticed a commotion outside. A woman, dressed in a bright pink outfit, was standing on my lawn, looking furious. She was talking to one of my neighbors, gesturing wildly. "Who's that?" I asked my friend, a fellow cop who was standing nearby. "I think that's Karen from next door," he replied. "She's been causing trouble in the neighborhood for months." As I watched, Karen stormed up to my front door and started ringing the doorbell non-stop. I opened the door, expecting a friendly neighbor, but instead I was met with a scowling face. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to stay calm. "You need to turn down the music," Karen shouted. "Some of us have work to do tomorrow." I politely explained that it was a housewarming party and that I'd be happy to keep the noise down after a certain time. But Karen wasn't having it. She started yelling at me, accusing me of being inconsiderate and rude. "Mom, I understand your concern," I said, trying to de-escalate the situation, "but I'm sure you can understand that it's a special occasion." Karen huffed and puffed, then pulled out her phone. "I'm calling 911, she threatened. To my surprise, Karen actually dialed 911 and started talking to the dispatcher. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was exaggerating the situation, claiming that I was hosting a wild party with gunfire and fireworks. The dispatcher asked her for my address, and Karen provided it, her voice dripping with venom. I couldn't help but wonder what she'd do next. As I waited for the police to arrive, I casually pulled out my badge and ID. I wasn't worried. I knew the responding officers would sort out the situation. When the police arrived, they were surprised to see me standing on my porch, badge in hand. "Officer, we've got a 911 call about a disturbance," one of them said. I smiled wryly. "You're looking at the homeowner and the officer. It seems we have a misunderstanding on our hands." The responding officers were professional, but I could tell they were amused by the situation. They talked to Karen, who was still fuming, and explained that it was just a housewarming party. Karen's face turned bright red as she realized her mistake. "You didn't tell me you're a cop," she exclaimed, her voice dripping with embarrassment. I shrugged. "You didn't ask." The officers mediated the situation, and eventually Karen stormed off, muttering apologies. My party resumed, and my guests enjoyed the rest of the evening. The next day, I received a call from the police department's community relations officer. "Hey, we heard about the 911 call at your housewarming party," he said, chuckling. "Just wanted to check in and see if everything's okay." I laughed. "Yeah, everything's fine. Just a misinformed Karen." We chatted for a bit, and he mentioned that the department would be sending Karen a courtesy call to educate her on when to call 911. As I hung up the phone, I couldn't help but smile. Being a cop had its perks, especially when it came to dealing with Karens. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that button to see more crazy stories. And if you have a Karen in your life, share your story in the comments below.